This is West African Voice Network.
Hello and welcome to Newswave. I am Sang Donald Mendy. We begin the bulletin in Nigeria, where France donates operational equipment to boost the country's anti-drug fight. The French government has provided operational equipment to Nigeria's National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to bolster efforts in combating drug abuse across the country. During the donation ceremony, the French ambassador to Nigeria, His Excellency Marc von Banstier, commended the NDLEA's achievements, particularly in illicit drug control, prosecution, and convictions. He highlighted Nigeria's progress in tackling drug-related crimes, noting that the country is well positioned for deeper collaboration and partnership with France. NDLEA Chairman General Mohamed Buba Marwa expressed gratitude for the support, emphasizing that the equipment would enhance the agency's crackdown on illicit drug activities. He also reiterated the agency's request for specialized training in investigations and cyber crime-related transactions, as well as support for its alternative development project, which encourages cannabis growers to adopt alternative crops. In Niger, citizens endure extreme fuel shortages as crisis worsens. Citizens in Niger are enduring long hours in scorching heat, waiting for fuel that remains increasingly scarce as the fuel crisis continues to paralyze the country. For nearly a week, the nation has struggled to meet its citizens' rising demand for petrol with an alarming shortage of the essential fuel. Frustrated Nigerians are often seen under the sweltering sun, pushing their motorbikes or carrying empty cans in a desperate search for fuel. Amadou Sani, a petrol station attendant in Niamey, gestured for motorists to keep moving, explaining that the pumps were dry due to a lack of fuel. Mohammed, the manager of another petrol station on the outskirts of the capital, mentioned that their tanks had been empty for 3 days and they were uncertain when the next shipment would arrive. Despite being an oil producer, Niger refines only a small fraction of its output. Since 2011, the country has produced around 20,000 barrels of refined petrol and diesel daily, but supply remains insufficient to meet domestic demands. Let's cross over to developments in Burkina Faso as authorities launch Commissary to support military families and enhance troop morale. The Burkinabe government has launched a new commissary aimed at providing essential products to military personnel and their families at affordable price. This initiative, endorsed by the Council of Ministers, in a strategic move to boost the well-being of its armed forces and address the logistical and social challenges faced by defense and security forces. Defense Minister General Celestine Simpori highlighted that the initiative would not only provide the soldiers purchasing power but also strengthen logistics for product distribution across military regions. The government recognizes the challenges faced by soldiers and their families in accessing consumer goods, but impacts the new commissary aims to ease this burden, enhancing the troops' living condition while supporting national solidarity. Meanwhile, Africa's SADC warns of health crisis as USA cuts weakening disease response. The African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC, has raised concern over the devastating impact of US aid cuts on the continent's ability to combat disease outbreaks. Director General Jean Kessia announced that Africa health ministers will convene on Friday to discuss global health financing and explore sustainable funding alternatives to fill the growing gaps. Describing the situation as a new era in health financing, Kessia highlighted how the aid cuts have distributed critical programs tackling disease such as malaria and AIDS, leaving health systems across Africa in turmoil. The loss of funding stems largely from the US decision to terminate foreign aid contracts and slash $60 billion in assistance as a move that has significant significantly affected Africa's SADC and regional health initiatives. And to stories from across the region, African leaders announced phased withdrawal of SADC troops from eastern Congo. African leaders on Thursday confirmed plans to withdraw thousands of troops from South Africa, Tanzania, and Malawi who were deployed to combat insurgencies in eastern Congo. The mineral-rich region has been plowed by M23 rebel attacks, resulting in casualties among peacekeepers and significant territorial losses this year. Troops were deployed in 2023 under the mandate of the Southern African Development Community. However, public opposition to the mission has intensified following the deaths of 14 South African and 3 Malawian soldiers in January. Meanwhile, SADC heads of states convened on Thursday to discuss the worsening security situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Leaders also emphasized the need for a strengthened diplomatic approach, particularly through merging the Luanda and Nairobi peace process to ensure lasting peace and long-term stability in the region. And that's it on Newswave on West African Voice Network. For more news from across the region and beyond, visit wavn.org. Stay connected with us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at WAVN News, and on TikTok and YouTube at West African Voice Network. I am Sangdona Mendy. Thanks for listening.